Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to the Masterclass Lesson 4. Lesson 4 is entitled Truth is Stranger Than Fiction. I'm your humble host, Chanda Sampa, aka Shizzo. Salutations to everybody watching this right now, wherever you're watching from. Thank you for your continued support. You can further support us by subscribing to our pages. The links are below in the description box. I'm sure they'll appear on the screen. You can buy some of our merch. This kit right here. But now that formality is out of the way, I'd just like to start by revisiting the last lesson. It ruffled a lot of feathers. Apologies if it did, but I think it's now time for me to give a verbal disclaimer. And that disclaimer is, this information on Masterclass is not for everyone. And I reiterate the point by saying, this show, the prerequisite for you to be part of the Masterclass, two simple rules. One, have your bachelor's in common sense. And two, have your bachelor's in discernment as well. Then you have an easier time on this journey. So, I feel I neglected to mention some points in the last lesson. One of which is a message to the women, or as I like to call them, queens. So all the queens out there, all the women that are watching this right now, just these 2-3 minutes is dedicated to you, lovely women, queens. So looking at the Bible and everything I said on the last lesson, right? I just wanted to find out from the women who are watching this and who are of the Christian faith, how does it feel to be marginalized in the Christian faith? Is that okay with you? Jesus had a son, God had a son called Jesus, but not daughter. God is in the spirit, the almighty, all-knowing, but the mother is human. Whenever a woman shows up in the Bible, she's causing havoc. Who ate the fruit? Eve is the one who did it. Who cut Delilah? Who cut Samson's hair? It was Delilah. Everything, how does that make you feel? Does that make you feel okay? 12 disciples, all men, not one woman. How does that make you feel? That now brings me to the topic of feminism. Do feminists just care about the well-being of women, or they care about everybody? I ask this because we all know what the Vatican gets up to with these little boys. But I've never heard any feminists speak up. Is it because these little boys who are getting abused and you don't care unless it was a little girl? Is that the case? Or I'm just asking, why is it that there's no outcry when little boys are being abused by women? So now we can get into today's lessons. Welcome everybody, salutations once more. I'd like to begin with a quote that will drive today's topic. Truth is stranger than fiction. So the quote is, your perspective is always limited by how much you know. Expand your knowledge and you transform your mind. That's what we're starting with. So then, Mr. Producer,
talk to me.
What month are we, or what date is it today?
Today is the 8th of May.
My producer says today is the 8th of May. By the way, do you know why it's the 8th of May today?
Not necessarily, no?
Yeah, it's the 8th of May because we're using what is known as the Gregorian calendar.
Okay.
Yes, so what is the Gregorian calendar, one might ask? The Gregorian calendar is the calendar used in most parts of the world. It was introduced on February 24th with a papal bull and went into effect in October 1852 by Pope Gregory XIII as a modification and replacement of the Julian calendar. So basically this calendar we're using, called the Gregorian calendar, was named after Pope Gregory XIII. Go back to lesson 2, numbers. What was I telling you about these numbers?
Yeah.
I spent how many minutes talking about the number 13? I wasn't talking about nothing. Here we see it now. It could have been Pope Gregory the first, the second, the third. It just so happened to be the 13th. So your whole calendar is based on the Pope. That's why you're saying today is today. But there's good news. There are other calendars in the world. For instance, the Chinese celebrate Chinese New Year whenever, according to their calendar, not the Gregorian calendar.
Yeah.
And there's even better news. There's an African calendar as well. So that's your other homework. Go look up the African calendar. It exists. It's based on the summer solstices, the solstices and the equinoxes, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, look it up. There's an African calendar as well. So that just shows how far and how much reach the Pope has, that they're using the calendar right now. And for us Zambians, when does our history start? 1964.
Yeah.
This came into being in 1582. What were our ancestors doing in 1582? Wouldn't you like to know? You could. Just look a little deeper and you'll find. So this is not the only calendar, that's the good news. You can follow the African one. If I'm not mistaken, the new year in the African calendar is, I think, 21st March, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so do further research, that's your homework. I don't want to make you lazy by spoon feeding you. I'm that kind of a teacher. So while we're still on the Pope and these guys, since remember last time I raised the controversial point by saying Jesus was white, and I know some of you are like, no, he wasn't white, he was brown skinned, but not black. So then, if Jesus is depicted as white, why is it that the Pope and his friends, then they worship the black, it's called the Black Madonna. There's a sculpture mainly at the Catholic Church where Mary is holding baby Jesus. Yeah, that painting or sculpture is called the Black Madonna. What are these popes doing in this picture? Why are they worshiping a black one? If you're not so special as a black person, why are the whites worshiping an entity, a deity that looks like you? Do they know something you don't? I'll leave it up to you. There you have it. You can see it. You can see it. Yeah. Then, on top of that, did you know that Pope Francis is the first Jesuit pope? But Shizzo, what are the Jesuits? The Jesuits are they're like the CIA or the military arm of the Vatican. Yeah, they're very intelligent people. It is also said that they are the pioneers of secret societies in this world. So I'll give you an example. One of the most infamous or famous secret societies, called the Illuminati, was founded by a guy called Adam Weishaupt. He was a German, but guess where he got his training and his schooling from? From a Jesuit university. So basically Adam Weishaupt was sent from wherever he came from, but he's German, we know that. But he went to America to infiltrate the American government and create the Illuminati, to destroy it from within. So Adam Weishaupt, the guy who created the Illuminati, went to a Jesuit school. Do you know somebody else who went to a Jesuit school?
Oh.
Anthony Fauci.
What?
Yeah.
Dr. Fauci?
Yeah, Dr. Fauci. If you don't know who Dr. Fauci is, Dr. Fauci is the one who was in charge of all the jabbing dons.
Yeah.
Yeah, the C-19. He was the one, these masks will save you, get this shot and everything will be safe. Here's another question for you. Remember, they said that no, just wear the mask, just stand 6 feet apart, and just take this jabbing done, the Jabberwocky as I call it. Basically, get that and you won't get the C-19.
Yeah.
Years have passed and we've seen that you still get the C-19 even after getting that thing. But what did you do? Nothing. You kept quiet. Nobody asked questions and said, oh, guys, but you said we wouldn't get it. You see, that's what complacency does. You have to call these people into question. You just obey whatever they told you without double checking.
Yeah.
Furthermore, Dr. Fauci was also involved with the HIV pandemic. He was one in the forefront. So this is not the first virus that is handling. This is his speciality. Then, the Pope himself, Pope Francis, is the white Pope. Then there's also a black Pope. Did you know that?
A black Pope?
Yes. Furthermore, there's been a grey Pope.
What?
But you won't find this information on the internet. You have to go to a library and read books. So, by the way, while we're on Jesuits, did you know Pope Francis is the first Jesuit Pope ever in history?
No idea.
Yes, exactly. So I've told you what the Jesuits do.
Yeah.
Then they're telling you that this Pope right now is the first ever Jesuit Pope. What do you think that means? So I'll just put some images for you to show you how deep these Jesuits go. How they have their claws in society without even our knowledge. Here we have a picture of Bill Gates in 1996. What is he discussing with this Jesuit Pope? What do you think? In 96, probably he didn't even know Bill Gates by then. But the Jesuits did. Did you know that the president who swore Joe Biden into office was a Jesuit priest. And on top of that, he's been suspended. He's under investigation. They didn't really go into detail about what he was under investigation for, but the fact of the matter is that the current president of the free world, the most powerful country in the world, was sworn in by a Jesuit. That's what the Jesuits do. So remember, there's the white pope, then there's a black pope who's even more powerful. Then there's a grey pope who, you are going to have a field day finding this. It's very, very, very intense. I want to show you some images, right? Here's Pope Francis. Have you seen how he's put his hand in his jacket? Oh no, Shizzo, he was getting his handkerchief. But right besides that is a picture that I personally read from a Freemason handbook. And they're showing you that symbol that Pope Francis is exhibiting in this picture is the sign of the master of the second veil. Oh, but Shizzo, you could have been getting a handkerchief. Or what about Lenin was also getting a handkerchief? Karl Marx was also getting a handkerchief. What about Stalin? Oh, and I won't say who this is. You just look at him. You think he was getting his handkerchief as well? Oh no, Shizzo, you're thinking too much. So you're telling me all these people are getting their handkerchiefs from the pocket now. All these guys, even Mr. Obama. Now, recently, a few days ago, was the coronation of Prince Charles. I've already spoken about the royal family. And I'm disappointed, class. I'm really disappointed. Because all you took from that was, the side chick has now become the main. Yeah, the side chicks are winning. Oh, Bali is such a gentleman. Look, he even let Mutinta go in the car first. Oh. That crown that they're wearing has got emeralds and diamonds from Africa. They should bring them back. You know they're from Africa, but what have you done about it? Nothing. Your leaders are even there. They've got personal invites. So you won't get it back. They're in bed together. You see? So during this coronation, I don't have to go back. You saw it for yourself. Did it seem holy to you? Yeah, triangles on the chair, all those symbols. I don't want to go back. I've already told you. You just rewatch the thing. Are you telling me, have you seen who this is? This is your new king. Oh, but Shizzo is the king of Britain. No. They said the king of Britain, the Commonwealth, and the realm. So what is the Commonwealth? The Commonwealth is a group that consists of all the member countries that were once colonized by Britain. That's what the Commonwealth is. So comprehend this. How sick and twisted is it? Here's an example, right? There are, let's say, 50 women who've been abused by Shizzo, for instance. Then all these women form up like a group formed by me, the person who abused you, and says, oh, let's be members and we'll have dialogue about how I abused you. Not saying sorry, not changing the behavior, and every year you come to my place to discuss how I abused you, and you're laughing with me. And then if you are abused, your descendants also keep the tradition and keep going to the same person who abused you. How twisted is that? Why do you have a group of people that you colonized and they're all kicking, having tea and crumpets with the king, the new king? So speaking of this same king, right? Remember, I have a picture of him getting his handkerchief as well. Have you seen that? Right? What about this? Do you know this person? Yeah, you know this person. The son, the family, Princess Diana's kids, and the king's son. What is he doing here? Is he also getting his handkerchief? Oh, but that's only one. Here's another one of him doing the same thing. So now, let's go a bit deeper into this new king of ours, right? Look at this picture right now, and this is from The Sun. It's a credible source, as they call it, right? So this was published on 5th April 2022, last year, and the headline reads, Bombshell Letters, Prince Charles, before he was king, Prince Charles' letters reveal he asked pedophile Jimmy Savile to advise royals after a series of PR disasters. So look at this picture, carefully. Who looks like the king in this picture? Who's receiving instructions and who's giving instructions? According to you, body language, right? So who is Jimmy Savile? Jimmy Savile was like a disc jockey or a DJ. He was very famous in the UK. He used to do a lot of like charity work and youth projects. But after he died in 2011, a lot of the things that he used to do came out. So this guy was a very twisted guy, Jimmy Savile. So I'm just going to read some of the atrocities. In fact, I won't read, let me just put them out because we don't want to get censored. But what I'm telling you is that this guy started in the 70s. He makes Epstein look like a kid. He has triple digits. Here's another article. The Met said that the total number of alleged victims were 589, of whom 450 were allegedly abused by Savile. This guy had access to disabled children's hospital wings. He had keys and access, and you know what? He was a necrophilia. So look at what necrophilia means, then you understand. This is Prince Charles' best buddy, who he was asking advice for. What does that show you? What are these people really getting up to? Ask yourself that question. And then Prince Andrew, the king's brother, the king's younger brother, apparently he was the queen's favorite child. He was exposed for what he was doing with Epstein. He was seen photographed with young girls, everything, all the evidence in there. He even paid 20 million to get out of it with no jail time. So this guy used to go to the island, Prince Andrew, you see? So they are all involved. So here's an interesting picture. Look it up, this is official. So on the left, you have Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. Ghislaine Maxwell, I believe, was Jeffrey Epstein's handler. That's my personal opinion. People say that he was one controlling her, but I think it's vice versa. Because you know what? Because Ghislaine Maxwell went to school with who? Prince Andrew, the king's young brother. That's how the connection came. So here we have a photo of Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell sitting at what seems to be a random cabin. Oh no, it's not random. On the right, you have the queen sitting at the exact same cabin. What does that show you? It shows you that Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell had unlimited access to Buckingham Palace and all the other properties that the royal family owns. Because why would you explain them sitting in the queen's, this is from the queen's private cabin for her vacation. The same exact spot that she's sitting is where those two are sitting. Who are they that they should be sitting there? You see where I'm getting at? As George Carlin said, it's one big group and you're not a part of it. So, okay, some quick rundowns of Truth is Stranger Than Fiction. Did you know on Robben Island, Nelson Mandela's prison number? Did you know his prison number?
No.
It was 46664.
For real?
Yeah, 666 in the middle. Oh no, but it could be a coincidence. Are you sure? Then, let me also talk about CERN. Okay, CERN is like, they deal with science. They have a hadron collider. I'm not really good with science, so I'll explain it as best as I can. So what these guys do basically is, in a summary, in a nutshell, they're trying to recreate the moment of creation. They're trying to recreate that, or the Big Bang, if you will. So what they do at CERN is that they get particles and make them hit each other faster than the speed of light in hopes of recreating the Big Bang, or the moment of creation.
Oh, that's why they call it a particle collider.
Exactly. Yeah, hadron collider. It does that with the particles.
Yeah.
So CERN, here's CERN's logo. Remember what I just told you about Mandela? That his prison number was 46664. But look at CERN's logo. Is it just me, or do you see a 666 in there? I'm just asking. Then on top of that, another 666. Here comes another 666. One of the most powerful organizations right now is called the World Economic Forum. It was founded by Klaus Schwab. He's a German-Swiss economist. I don't know where this guy came from, but the power that he wields is just astonishing. So look at the logo for World Economic Forum. Is it just me, or there's a 666 in there as well? By the way, the headquarters of CERN are in Switzerland, in Geneva, and the World Economic Forum headquarters are also in Switzerland, but in Davos. So what do the World Economic Forum do, one might ask? So basically, the World Economic Forum have a meeting every year in some Swiss mountains called Davos. So they have the most powerful people going to these meetings every year. And when I say powerful, all the people that you thought were wealthy and rich are running things. No, those are his errand boys. So all these Bill Gates, Elon Musk, they answer to Klaus Schwab. I'm telling you, you don't believe me? Okay, I'll provide proof. So Mr. Klaus Schwab, the reason why he got my attention is because the theme for the 2020 World Economic Forum meeting in Davos was called Great Reset. By the way, before I say what Schwab says, here's another article that says, Vatican official at Davos says the church is implementing the World Economic Forum agenda. So in this year's meeting, the Vatican had representatives there, and they're saying the Vatican, the all-powerful Vatican, they're following Klaus Schwab's his agenda. That's what it says. You can see it for yourself. I'm looking for the quote. A minute, please. While we're on World Economic Forum, here's another picture. Because remember I mentioned Mandela's prison number 46664. When the South Africans were busy battling to end the apartheid government, singing Baete. Did you know Mandela was at the World Economic Forum in 1992 with de Klerk? Yeah, this is from their website. In 1992, South African President de Klerk met Nelson Mandela and Chief Mangosuthu Buthelezi at the annual meeting, their first joint appearance outside South Africa and a milestone in the country's political transition. Many of you thought he was released from prison in 94. What was he doing in Switzerland in 92? Did you even know he was there with Chief Mangosuthu Buthelezi? You see where I'm getting at now? Yes. So that is what these guys have been up to. So now I'm just going to Klaus Schwab. I want to show you how powerful this organization is. I want to show you some of the attendees of these meetings. This is from this year. So it says, who is who? This is from Al Jazeera, right? By the way, the executive chairman of Al Jazeera is also part of the World Economic Forum. Look it up.
Compromise.
So it says, who is and who is not attending the World Economic Forum? Some 2,700 leaders from 130 countries, including 52 heads of state and government, will be attending the annual meeting in Davos. Do you even know 52 countries? You see? So now I'm going to the list. You see? So, for instance, in Europe, these are the type of caliber that are found in this meeting. So we have the Prime Minister of Belgium, President of Poland, President of the European Central Bank, Prime Minister of Finland, President of the European Parliament, Prime Minister of Greece, Prime Minister of Netherlands, Prime Minister of Spain, President of Moldova, Federal Council of Germany, President of the European Commission. Oh, but Shizzo, those are Americans. What does that have to do with us? What about Aziz Akanauch, head of government of Morocco? What about the Prime Minister of Tunisia, the President of Tanzania, President of Congo? What are they doing at that meeting? Okay, now we have some international people. Executive Director of the International Energy Agency, President of the International Committee of the Red Cross, the Secretary General of the United Nations, Managing Director of the IMF. Remember the one who gives us our money?
Yeah.
He was there. The Director General of World Health Organization, Director General of the World Trade Organization, Executive Director of UNICEF, Secretary General of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, NATO. These guys were in this meeting. What do you think they were discussing? I'm just asking. That's the caliber of people that were found in this meeting. You see where I'm going? You see? I'll add some quotes here by Klaus Schwab, just for you to get clarity of what these people get up to. So, but before I leave, Prince Charles, since he was born in the royal family, oh, here's even another interesting picture. This is a picture. World Economic Forum annual meeting 1992. The king, the current king, with Schwab in 92, the same year that Mandela was there. Here's the picture, it's from their website. So then, the prince's father, Prince Philip, listen to some of his famous quotes. We're not accusing him. He said this: if I were reincarnated, I would wish to be returned to Earth as a killer virus to lower human population levels. That's the type of person he was. Can you imagine that? That's one of his most famous quotes. There's even another one. This is Prince Philip, the husband to Queen Elizabeth, the father to King Charles. I just wonder what it would be like to be reincarnated in an animal whose species had been so reduced in numbers that it was in danger of extinction. What would be its feelings towards the human species whose population explosion had denied it somewhere to exist? I must confess that I am tempted to ask for reincarnation as a particularly deadly virus. And it just so happens we had a deadly virus, huh?
What's his obsession?
Yeah, that's who we're dealing with. These are the type of people that we're dealing with. So truth is stranger than fiction. Here's one more for you, in case you're still thinking this is a game. This is from Business Insider, credible source. In 1953, a scientist predicted a man titled Elon would lead humans to Mars and crown himself Martian Emperor. This was even before Elon Musk was born. So what are you telling me? Let me read a bit of it. You see? It even says so here. Actually, somebody even tweeted Elon Musk like, oh, did you know there was a book? There was a book that was written in 1953 saying there was a guy called, he goes, there's even a copy of the book. This is the English transcript of the book. Elon, referred by Werner von Braun in the book, isn't the name of the person, but rather the name of the position, something like an elected meritocrat president. So the world is changing. So how could it be that a guy in 1953 knew Elon would take us to Mars? They're following a script. What more do you need? And on top of that, just to give you, who was Werner von Braun? He was like a scientist, a rocket scientist and an inventor. He used to run those operations in the Nazis, fighter jets, things of that nature. But during what was known as Operation Paperclip, this was where all the Nazi Germans were taken, the intelligent ones, they were not killed. They were re-established and redistributed in the American society. So this same Werner von Braun, after he did all the day work for the Nazis, the Americans said, no, this one is an asset, and brought him, and he's one of the founders of NASA. Would you believe that? This same Werner von Braun we're talking about, he was the chairman. Yeah, another, truth is stranger than fiction. Remember in lesson 1 I told you what an anagram is, a word which when you rearrange the word makes another word. Guess what's an anagram for Santa?
Satan.
Satan? Yeah, so bad. Have you noticed the similarities? The way Satan or the devil is depicted is that he's red. Yes. Who else is red? Santa
Claus.
And they have a realm of their own. Yes, wherever he goes. Is it the North Pole?
North Pole.
Yeah, that's his realm.
With his elves.
Satan has also got, and with his elves. Satan has also got hell with his demons.
Yeah. And
then he punishes bad behavior. If you haven't lived according to what he said, you won't get your gifts. You see? But if you behave according to him, he'll give you anything that you wish for. You see? And it's also pedophilic, because what do? He comes at night while the parents are sleeping. He doesn't even come through the front door, he comes through the chimney. And even when the parents wake up, they won't be suspicious. Who's this old man playing with my kid? No, they'll even take their children to sit on his lap.
Eish.
Is that what you do on Christmas?
Yeah.
Yeah. So another thing, why is Christmas also called an Xmas? Because like in mathematics, X is like, you have to solve for X. Yeah. X could be anything or something. So Xmas, what are they trying to say there? You see? Then we have some more pictures here. Here's another one. Because I always talk about astrology, even when I meet girls. I always ask what their sign is to see if we're compatible. So others, say the Christians say it's evil, or it's not real. What if I told you Ronald Reagan, the former president of America, used to use an astrologer for everything that he did? Yeah. Ronald Reagan's use of astrology in the White House is probably the most famous account. You see? Then it even gives a little bit Virtually every major move and decision the Reagans made during my time as White House Chief of Staff was cleared in advance with a woman in San Francisco who drew up horoscopes to make certain that the planets were in a favorable alignment for the enterprise, wrote Donald Reagan, Reagan's Chief of Staff, in his book For the Record. That woman was Joanne Quigley, who claimed she participated in presidential decisions in a more intimate way than the publicly recognized insiders of greatest importance. So the actual president used to use astrology. Here's another one. The United Nations, the so-called United Nations. Did you see the statue that they erected? It's since been removed. So it goes, UN sculpture looks a lot like the end times beast referred to Daniel 7 and Revelation 13. Since you love the Bible so much, go and read Daniel 7 and read Revelation 13, and compare it with this beast. Why would the United Nations put the beast that is said to be a signifier of the coming end times? Why would they put that at their headquarters in New York? And then on top of that, when they were asked, they said, oh, it's for protection. Protection from who? From the good guys? The good guys, the evil guys are protecting themselves from the good guys. Is that what they mean? So I think that might be all for now. This was another lesson 4, Truth is Stranger Than Fiction. We touched on a lot of random topics, but this is just because I wanted to put a lot of information out there so that if people are interested, you can tell me which topic you like and then I can go further into this. But salutations to everybody for watching. Thank you once again for supporting Culture Stimulation. You can further support us by getting one of these hats. If you have the summer body, you have crop tops as well, shirts, sweatpants, whatever you need, just hit up the number below. And yeah, support us. That was another lesson. My name is Chanda Sampa, lesson 4.